Hey everybody, and welcome back to another 1908 game. We've got the Cardinals and the Cubs. Cubs are at 14-4 in first place. Cardinals are very much not, which is what we'd expect. It's Patsy O'Rourke who's going to lead this off for the Cardinals as I drop things all over the place. 7-11 is where the Cardinals are at. O'Rourke rolls a 34. Let's make sure we have the numlock on. There we go. 444. It's a fly ball to center field, and Slagle's got that for the out, one away. Red Murray comes up next. Now, the big question for discussion today is, are all of these old teams and old games just not worth talking about? I mean, I've seen people talk about this on Twitter about how, nobody cares about this stuff. Nobody takes old records seriously because the game was so much worse back then. Love to know what your thoughts are. I disagree with it. Murray rolls a 15 for an 11, gets a base hit, and then gets a stolen base afterwards. And here comes Ed Kenichi. So the Cardinals, right off the bat, are threatening their first hit, only one away. And here's Ed, who's hitting 286, 338, getting on base a little bit, and with that 414 slugging percentage, which is very good for 1908. Kenichi rolls a 56 432. It's a fly ball over to Schultz in right field, who makes the catch for the out, two away, and it's Albert Shaw. Shaw rolls a 55 for an 8, and that's a comebacker over to Feister, who grabs it, throws to first for the out. We go to the bottom of the first. I have made the point before, and I'll repeat it again. I really, really think that baseball in any era is comparable to the era that we see today. I think that we make a lot too much out of era differences, and we tend to make mountains out of molehills. And if we went back, we'd be surprised at how similar things are. Johnny Evers leads this off. Rolls a 54 445, and the roll is a 56 little E roll. It's a fly ball over to right field, and it's Murray who has it for the out, one away. Frank Chance comes up there now. And here comes Chance with his chance, and he rolls a 33 for 0. The next roll is going to be a 15 for 6, and so that's going to end up being a double. And Chance ends up over at second base. The Cubs turn to threaten, and they have a much different lineup than the Cardinals do. Here's Johnny Clean up against Fred Beebe, one of the few players here who has a grade high enough to get an A. Beebe and Kling rolls a 26 for a 27. That is poor from Kling. That's a ground ball over to Byrne at third base, who makes the play and throws to first for the out, two away. That's a very, very poor play there by Kling. All he has to do is hit a ground ball to the other side to advance the runner. Can't do it. Jimmy Schecker now rolls a 43 for a 29. That is a ground ball over to the first baseman, Kenichi, who fields it, flips over to Beebe for the out. We go to the top of the second. Bobby Byrne up there. And Bobby rolls a 33 for an 8, and that's going to be a ground ball over to Tinker, the shortstop, who makes the play and throws to first for an out. Normally a base hit, but not against this guy on the mound. One away. Here's Bill Ludwig, who rolls a 35 for a 38, changed to a 40, which is going to be a foul ball. His next roll is a 44 for an 8, so that's another ground ball over to the shortstop Tinker, who makes the play and throws to first for the out. Two gone. It is Joe Delahanty time, and he rolls a 41 for a 28, and so all three are ground balls to short, all three to Tinker, all three out at first. We'll go to the bottom of the second inning. Jimmy Slagle's up there, and he rolls a 66 for a 0. And then a 52 for an 11. That's going to be a base hit for Slagle, who then steals second base right afterwards. Tinker's up next, 2 hits for the Cubs. Joe Tinker's up there, and his roll is going to be a 43 for a 29. That is a ground ball over to the first baseman, Kenichi. Flips over to Beebe for the out. Slagle moves up to third. With one out, do you pull the infield in? I say you don't. It's a little bit early for that. And Steinfeld only hitting 250 on base percentage. We're going to swing away with him. He rolls a 13 for a 14, and so Beebe's wildness still continues to be a problem. 12 strikeouts, 12 walks so far this season. Here's Wildfire Schultz. 12 walks is a little bit high for his 36 innings pitched, but we're kind of used to 1949, so a little bit low for 49. Schultz rolls a 21 for a 30. That's a fly ball to left field, and Delahanty doesn't have a good arm, and so that allows the runner to score. The reason why, and so we're skipping over a lot of steps in Skeetersoft, but that second rating here by Delahanty, you see where the mouse cursor is, second rating is a 1, which means it's fielding 3. I know it's confusing. 1 is 3, 3 is 1, and so on. Fielding 3, the worst fielding rating, and for that 130 allows the runner on third base to score. And so it's 1-0 for the Cubs. Here is Jack Feister. 2 outs, and Feister rolls a 25 for 36. It's going to be a wild pitch by Beebe. Runner moves to second. And Feister up there still rolls a 14, this time for 43. There is a little E roll. And the little E rolls a 13. Boy, it's bad luck for the Cardinals. It's an Aaron O'Rourke, and Feister reaches first. Steinfeld goes over to third, and here comes Johnny Evers again. Evers 0 for 1 today with the fly ball to right field to lead things off, hitting 324. Very good on base percentage, 435. as 1908, and he rolls a 24 for a 31. It's a fly ball over to center field, and it is the center fielder, where are we, Shaw, who grabs that for the out. Just so you know, that's an extra 31 on this card, which is up there because apparently Evers was a good hit and run man. A little bit of APBA Skeetersoft trivia for you. Billy Gilbert now for the Cardinals, top of the third. He rolls a 61 for a 32. It's a fly ball over to right field. Schultz has it for the out, one gone, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Fred Beebe. Beebe up there rolls a 45 for 36. That's always a bad sign. There's a strike on him. His next roll is a 54 for 45, and we do have the little E roll. This is going to be out of the range of 25, and it's a fly ball over to right field. Schultz has it for the out, 2 away, and it's Patsy O'Rourke. Patsy up there rolls a 66 for a 0, and his next roll is a 64 for a 6. That's going to be a double to right center field. O'Rourke now 1 for 2 with that double, and that'll bring up Red Murray, who had that single and stolen base in the top of the first. Second hit for the Cardinals. Murray trying to drive this runner home, and he rolls a 55 for an A. That's not going to work against the B, and that ends up being a comeback over to Feister, who grabs it, throws to first for the out. Just like that, we're in the bottom of the third inning, and it's Frank Chance. Chance rolls a 45 for a 14. He'll take his base. That'll bring up Johnny Kling. Runner on at first base, and what do? We could hit and run. I think we are going to hit and run. And the roll is a 35 for a 9, and that's going to be a ground ball over to the shortstop, O'Rourke, who makes the play, throws to first for the out with Chance moving up. That pulls up Jimmy Sheckard, runner on at second base, 1 out. And Sheckard rolls a 25 for a 10. That's going to be against the, he's still a B. That's what's happening here. That's going to be a ground ball over to Byrne, the third baseman, who has to go to first with it. I'm a little bit confused, actually, about this and exactly how it works. The Chance moves up on a ground ball to the left side to the third baseman. I'm not exactly sure I can visualize this right. So, I mean, you let me know what you think happened. Jimmy Slagle's up there now. Runner on third base, 2 outs, bottom of the third, and Jimmy rolls a 33 for an 8. That's a fly ball over to right field, and it's going to be Murray who grabs that for the out. We go to the top of the fourth. So you can see here, if you've never played this game before, if you know nothing about Skeetersoft, APBA, and that sort of thing, you can see kind of the flow of the game. It's got a good flow to it, and there are little things in here that will make sure that the run scored ends up where they should be. Ed Kenichi rolls a 45 for a 14. He takes his base on a walk, and that'll bring up Albert Shaw with a runner on at first. And we'll swing away again. The roll is a 13 for a 14. That's another walk. So 2 straight walks by Jack Feister. Only his 5th walk of the season. That second one, that brings up Bobby Byrne. Byrne is hitting 188. He's going to bunt. And this time he rolls a 32 for a 26. So it's a good bunt over to the left side. This one makes sense to me. Steinfeld fields it, throws to first for the out. The 2 runners move up. And so that brings up Bill Ludwig with runners on at second and third, 1 out. Infield comes in. Ludwig really has to bunt. I mean, he's hitting absolutely nothing. Looking pretty poor up there at the plate. And he rolls a, whoops, we have to undo that. He rolls a 54. Let's try that again. There it is, a 54, and I've took the bunt off. We'll try this one more time. He rolls a 54. There's the little E, which is what I was kind of expecting to see. We all make mistakes, right? To err is human, and his next roll is a 55. That ends up being a foul strike. We will do this again. Let's see if we can do this, if I can hit the right buttons. And this time he rolls a 56. That doesn't bode very well. There's another little E, so maybe they'll get lucky with this one. Rolls a 41, so they don't, and that's another foul strike. So the infield remains in, and Ludwig is going to have to swing away. He rolls a 41 for a 28, and that is a ground ball over to the second baseman, O'Rourke, who looks Kenichi back to third and throws home with it, 2 away. Joe Delahanty now, runners on second or third. About said Ed, wrong season. Rolls an 11 for a 0 and 64 for a 2. So that's a big triple for Delahanty. That makes this a 2-1 ball game just like that. And wow, Joe coming in the clutch here, hitting a triple when I thought all was lost. 2-1 Cardinals. Billy Gilbert up there next. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. I was hoping to do this recording a little bit earlier on today, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. Billy Gilbert up there now with the runner on at third base. Cardinals have turned this one around. You watched that game yesterday. The Giants turned that one around a little bit later in the ball game. Here we're on the 4th inning. The Cardinals with the 2-1 lead. And Gilbert rolls a 25 for a 10. That's a single to right field, and that's a 10 with a little bit bonus as Gilbert is able to steal second base. It's a 3-1 game now, and here is Fred Beebe. 1 second. All right, there you go, and that's the reason why I'm always hoping to do this a little bit earlier in the day, but sometimes you have nothing but meetings all day long, and You're done with the meeting. You're wondering why you had the meeting. Fred Beebe up there now, the pitcher, with runner on at second base. 2 outs here, top of the 4th. 3-1 now Cardinals. And he rolls a 32 for a 26. That's a little ground ball over to second baseman Evers, who grabs it and throws to first for the out. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's Joe Tinker up there, and let's see what Tinker can do. He rolls a 44 for an 8. That's a little ground ball over to O'Rourke, who grabs it, throws to first for the out. 1 away. Harry Steinfeld. Steinfeld rolls a 52 for a 27. This time the ground ball goes over to Byrne at third base, who grabs it and throws to first for the out. 2 away, and it's Wildfire Schultz. Rolls a 61 for a 32. Fly ball over to right field, and Schultz has it. Or not Schultz, I'm sorry. Murray has it for the out. We go to the top of the 5th. You can say Schultz flies out to Schultz. That can't happen. Here's Patsy O'Rourke for the Cardinals. 3-1. They've turned this one around, and Patsy rolls a 62 for a 12. There's that little E. And rolls a 56 out of the range. That's going to be a ground ball down to Chance, who does it himself. 1 away. Red Murray comes up. He rolls a 13 for a 40, and that's changed to 36. That'll just be a ball. His next roll, 56 for a 34, and here comes the little E roll. It's a 13, so it's going to be in that little E range, and that's going to end up being in air, this time on the second baseman Evers. So Murray makes his way over to first base. Here comes Ed Kenichi now, runner on at first, and it looks like the Cardinals have another chance to do something as the cleaning vacuum comes on. This is going to be a fun broadcast. Ed Kenichi up there now with Murray on at first. We're going to check really quick and see, and yeah, look at all those 11s. So we've got to hit and run. And the roll is a 36 for a 33, which means that's a line drive over to the third baseman. Steinfeld grabs that one, throws over to first, completes the double play. That's the danger when you hit and run, but I think it was worth the effort. We go to the bottom of the 5th, and it's Jack Feister. Jack rolls a 44 for a 9. There's a single over shortstop. That'll bring up Johnny Evers. 1 out, or nobody out, sorry. Here's Evers. Feister on at first. Rolls a 16 for a 26. That's a ground ball over to the second baseman Gilbert. Flips to O'Rourke for 1. Try to get Evers out at first for the double play, but can't. The throw is a little bit tardy, so there's still a runner on at first base. That'll bring up fighting Chance. You can see here I'm doing a little hit and run action. And Chance rolls a 21 for a 30. Fly ball over to left field. Not what you want to do. It's a Delahanty has that one for the out. 2 away, and that'll bring up Johnny Kling now. And Johnny rolls a 21 for a 30. Another fly ball over to Delahanty. So that'll do that. We go to the top of the 6th, and the Cubs go down very quietly there in the 5th. Albert Shaw here to lead things off in the top of the 6th. 3-1 Cardinals. And Shaw rolls a 52 for a 27. That'll be a ground ball over to third base. Steinfeld grabs that, throws to first for the out. Steinfeld getting a couple of pretty good plays here so far in this one. We've been airless for the most part, 1 air for each team. Bobby Byrne rolls a 45 for a 14. He'll take his base on the walk. And for Feister, that is walk number 3 given up today. Hasn't struck anybody out. He'll bring up Bill Ludwig, and we're going to bunt with him one more time. Might as well. I don't know what else he can do. He rolls a 41 for a 28. Good bunt back to Feister, who goes to the second baseman Evers, covering at first for it. 2 away, and here's Joe Delahanty again. Delahanty had that big triple that makes RBIs number 5 and 6 for him here in this season, hitting 221 and under 300 for the slugging percentage, which just tells you how wonderful that triple really was. And Delahanty now rolls a 66 for a 0, and the next roll up there is going to be a 42 for a 2. So it's another triple for Delahanty. Scores another one that makes this a 4-1 ball game. This is amazing. Excuse me for a moment. One other score to take care of. Well, I tell you, this game has been remarkable for so many reasons. 2 triples by Joe Delahanty. We've had, either 3 or 4 interruptions so far, and we even took out the commercials. How about that? All sorts of interruptions, all sorts of craziness going on. Billy Gilbert's back up there. He's 1 for 2 today. Gilbert doesn't really belong in a major league roster, but here he is, and he rolls a 32 for a 26. It's going to be a ground ball over to the second baseman Evers, who grabs it, throws to first for the out. 4-1 for St. Louis, and this will be Jimmy Sheckard coming up here in the bottom of the 6th as the Cubs try to turn this one around. Cubs can't really afford much of a loss here. I think this will put them only a game ahead of, I believe, the Giants are in second. In fact, Diamond Mike can learn from this. Look, I can look this up right now, and it will. Yes, if the Cubs lose, they'll be 14-5 above the 12-5 Giants, and it's not good when you can see the Giants have a couple of games in hand on them. Of course, that's using a association football term that we don't use in the United States very much. Here's Jimmy Sheckard again. Bottom of the 6th, nobody out, and he rolls a 41 for a 28. It's a ground ball to O'Rourke, who grabs it, throws to first for the out. Good play by Patsy, one away. Jimmy Slagle up there now. And he'll roll a 43 for a 29. It's a comebacker to BB, throws to first for the out, 2 away. Joe Tinker up there. Tinker rolls a 54 for a 45, and of course we do have that little E roll, that little bit of a chance, and there's no chance. There's a fly ball over to right field, and it's Murray who makes the catch for the out, and we go to the top of the 7th. So it's Fred Beebe up there. He's been pitching remarkably today despite his W. Beebe rolls a 32 for a 26, so it's a ground ball again to Evers, who makes the play and throws to first for the out, 1 away. Patsy O'Rourke. Patsy up there rolls a 63 for a 30. It's a fly ball to left field. Sheckert has it for the out, 2 away. And it's Red Murray. Murray rolls a 26 for a 32. It's a fly ball to right field, and Schultz has that for the out. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. This is 1908. That's what 1908 feels like. It's a lot of innings like that. Here's Harry Steinfeld. He rolls a 53 for a 19. That's changed to an 18. That's going to be an error. That'll be an error and O'Rourke, the shortstop, second error of the game on the Cardinals. I said this was a well-fielded game. At least we won't have a team with 5 errors like the Giants did yesterday. Wildfire Schultz now with Steinfeld on at first. He rolls a 13 for a 14, and that's where that W hurts. Walk number 3 given up by Beebe, and that'll bring up Jack Feister. Now, Feister is 1 for 2 today. Got on an error and a single, so he's been on twice. Down by 3, a bunt kind of puts you in a good position. You could swing away theoretically, but I think we're going to bunt. Just looking at what he did in real life and taking a glance at that card, it's time to bunt. And he rolls a 52 for a 27. That's going to be a strikeout. That's not what you want to see. 1 out, and that'll bring up Johnny Evers. Evers will swing away 0 for 3 today. Little bit, I would say probably a little bit of a slump. We could see him hit maybe a little bit better than 315. Oh, and he rolls a 55 for an A, but it's against the B, and that's a ground ball over to third base. Byrne has that, throws to first for the out, 2 away. Both runners move up. It'll be Frank Chance now with 2 outs, runners on second and third. And Chance has his chance, and it's a rule is a 12, and that's going to be a line drive over to first base. Kenichi has that for the out. We go to the top of the 8th. So the Cubs have had their chances here and haven't been able to put them away, and here is Ed Kenichi. Ed rolls a 15 for a 10. That's a single to center field, and that'll bring up Al Shaw with a runner on at first. Runner is slow at first, though, which limits our ability to do much. Shaw is hitting 149, the number 4 slot. Yeah. We're changing, after the games on this day are done, we're changing these lineups. Shaw won't be hitting here anymore. He rolls a 32 for a 26. That is a ground ball over to Evers, the second baseman. Flips over to Tinker for 1. They can't get Shaw at first, though, so 1 away, and here's Bobby Byrne. Bobby rolls a 13 for a 13 and strikes out. There's 2 away now, and here is Bill Ludwig. And Bill will roll a 35 for 38, change to 37. That's going to be an out of some sort. And yes, the runner is caught off at first base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and it's Johnny Kling up there. So the Cubs still with 6 outs left to go have their chances. Johnny Kling, though, rolls a 36 for a 33. And the next roll is a 63 out of the air range. That's a little pop-up over to the second baseman. It's Gilbert who has that for the out, 1 away. Jimmy Sheckert up there now rolls a 13 for a 14, and there's a walk. Walk number 4 given up by BB, and here comes Jimmy Slagle. Slagle rolls a 33 for an 8, and 8's not what you want. It's a ground ball to Byrne again, who throws to first for the out, 2 away, and here's Joe Tinker. Tinker rolls a 26 for a 32. It'll be a fly ball over to Murray in right field. He's got that for the out, and we go to the top of the 9th. Bill Ludwig to lead things off for the Cardinals, top of the 9th. He's 0 for 2. And he rolls a 62 for a 12, and that's a ground ball over to the first baseman, Chance, who does it to the bag himself, 1 away. And Joe Delahanty, and if we were in St. Louis, they'd be up and cheering for him. I think everybody here is just sort of silenced by the power hitting today. He has 2 triples in this game, driven in 3. And this time he rolls a 63 for a 31. That's a fly ball to the center fielder, Slagle, for the second out. Here's Bill Gilbert. And Bill rolls a 33 for a 7. So he gets a base hit here, hit number 2 for him in this game, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Fred Beebe. And here comes Fred. One of the reasons, by the way, why I use dice like this is because this way you can't blame it on some sort of computer algorithm when something crazy like that happens, like the guy gets 2 triples. You saw it yourself with your own eyes, just as I did. BB rolls a 53 for a 21. It's changed to 19. That's going to be an error, or a single, to third base. Steinfeld makes a bad play on this one. He had so many good ones earlier today, and BB's on at first with the single. That'll bring up Patsy O'Rourke now. Runners on at first and second, 2 outs, top of the 9th. Patsy rolls a 41 for a 28, so he's not joining in that hit parade. That's a ground ball over to Tinker, who flips to Evers for the out. Here we are in the bottom of the ninth inning, and it's going to be Harry Steinfeld to lead it off, and he rolls a 43 for a 29, comebacker to BB, throws to first for the out, one away. Only 3 hits for the Cubs in this one, and it is Wildfire Schultz. Schultz rolls a 26 for a 32. It's a fly ball to Murray in right field for the out, 2 away. Feister's 1 for 3 today, but he's going to come out. He's been on base actually twice. Do we want to put Zimmerman in? No. Moran? No. We don't want to use the backup catcher in this situation. I'm thinking probably Durbin or Howard. I can't see which ones I've used before, so we put in Howard. He's had 3 plate appearances this season, so apparently I have used him a little bit. Roll is a 35 for a 9. That'll be a base hit over short, and that's hit number 4 for the Cubs. That'll bring up Johnny Evers, and BB then goes down to the C rating. Evers, he rolls an 11 for a 0. This is going to go deep. And the next roll is a 62 for a 6. That's going to be a double, and that will score the runner with 2 outs. It's a 4-2 ball game now. Now the Cubs do have their chances here. BB will stay in this ball game. Now this is one of those things that you've got to think about, which is what do we do with the D on the mound once the guy goes down like this? We're leaving him in. Frank Chance. Chance rolls a 64 for 22, changed to an 18. That's going to be an error on the shortstop, O'Rourke, and suddenly the potential winning run is up there at the plate in the person of Johnny Kling. Kling is 0 for 4 today, 222 average, 279 on base percentage. We're leaving him in. We're not going to put in the backup catcher because I know he has that power. And he rolls a 55 for an 8, and that's going to be a single. That will score 1, send the runner Chance to third, but the little C gets him at the end, and that's going to be the end of this ball game as Kling is thrown out trying to steal. And how about that one? So the Cubs end up losing this one 4-3, and they lose it in kind of the oddest of fashions as Kling ends up rolling the 55 for the 8 with for a base hit. I told you that I wasn't going to take the pitcher out, and I definitely didn't. But this is definitely one for a source of a lot of controversy. I would really love to hear down below what you think should have happened in that game, if I should have done that, if I should have told him not to try to steal, or exactly what's going on. In my defense, that's the only little C that he has on his card. He does have an 11. You want him to steal a base if he has the chance. He also has those 11s in the double column. He has 1, 2, 3 of them. So I would say that it's probably still the best thing to have him go and give him the green light, but maybe that wasn't the right thing because they lost the game. Cubs lose this one 4-3. They go down to 14-5, have a 1-game lead over the Giants. Now Cardinals go up to 8-11, but I'm not sure if anybody's really paying attention to what they do in this season. And there you have it. So we have the first real controversy of the season, and there's a lot to talk about in this one. Hope you enjoyed this game. I will see you with more tomorrow. Bye-bye.